All right, welcome to the Queer Economy. Today we're joined by Brandon Hilton, a singer, songwriter, actor, author, model, celebrity fashion designer, and LGBTQ plus trailblazer. Brandon's got an incredible story, and we'll just dive right in. Brandon, I'd love to hear. Give us a little intro into who you are.
This is the perfect start to this. My pig, can you hear that? My pig just came to the door and started screaming.
Like an actual pig.
Let me run, let him in, otherwise he's just going to scream at the door.
So what I failed to mention is Brandon has pet pigs too, so that's an even more exciting thing to add to your bio.
Yeah, I live on a farm. I live on a little farm, so I have 5 pigs and cats and frogs and all kinds of things. Aside from everything else I do, I got this crazy exciting farm life too. My name is Brandon Hilton. I am a singer, actor, LGBTQ activist, fashion designer, actor, author, model, pig farmer. So I dabble. And currently I am mostly focusing on fashion and music. And I was just featured in Vogue last Friday, which was crazy. And I just also dropped my first single and music video, H to T, in almost a decade. And that's doing really well. So I'm very excited. Things are looking pretty good right now.
That's so exciting. Vogue and new music. Congratulations on those.
I know, it's pretty crazy to be in Vogue. There's this Alexander McQueen touring film plus exhibit plus Broadway musical that's going to be happening, and my fashion brand did most of the costumes for it. We did a lot of the costumes. I did all the wigs, even did some of the makeup on it. So like it was crazy to be so heavy-handed in like this insane project, and it's premiering at New York Fashion Week on September 8th. So I'll be there doing the little red carpet and trying to be cute.
Gosh. Okay, so this is like a huge moment for you. So let's just start off with a question of what would 10, 15, 18-year-old Brandon think if they saw where you're at today?
Oh my gosh. Well, 10, 15, 18-year-old Brandon fully 100% believed that this was his future. I've been delusional since I was born. I have always had incredibly high expectations for myself. So I guess he would be like, okay, bitch, you did it. You said you was going to do it, and you did it. So I used to perform at age 8 in my basement in a towel as a wig for my grandma and do share drag. So, like, I've always known that I was a performer, I was an entertainer, I was into fashion. So I think he would just be like, okay, all right, well, we're where we're supposed to be.
That's so cool, and I'm sure that's powerful to look back and go, yeah, the delusion paid off.
Right. But I mean, it wasn't an easy road by any means. Like, I had a really crazy childhood. My father murdered someone in front of me when I was 7 years old. My childhood was really traumatic. The only thing that I will contribute to my dad as positive is he kind of instilled in me my love for movies and films. The only positive memories are like us watching movies together. After he went to prison, I really kind of dived into movies, entertainment, because that was my escape from the trauma that I had been through as a kid.
Okay, so you had a crazy childhood, your father goes to prison, and then life keeps moving along. Maybe go ahead and give us a little bit of a timeline of where life went from there.
Okay, so after my dad went to prison, we moved into a new house, and then my mom met her new husband, became my stepdad. He taught me carpentry and building, so I really got into in tree houses and gardening. I love to garden with my grandmother. I still garden to this day. I have ponds and gardens all around my house. If you don't hear pigs screaming, you probably hear frogs croaking because there's ponds outside of every window. So I really started finding out that I was gay, I guess around age 12, 13, and then my sister bought me Cher's Living Proof album for my birthday one year. And it became my favorite album in the whole entire world. I listened to it constantly, and I would perform to the songs in the basement for my sister. And I guess that's what really kind of curated my love for performing. 17, I got a fake ID and I started performing in drag at a club locally. And then when I turned 18, I started actually performing in clubs in drag. So drag kind of was my catalyst into pop stardom because it got me used to being on stage in front of people because I'd never performed for in drag for people except for my grandma in the basement. And so she fully helped me curate my drag performances. She helped me with wigs and outfits and costumes, and she was a really big supporter of me. I was around 13, I guess. I came out to my mom, and my mom wasn't equipped to handle that, even though I thought she was, because we watched Will and Grace every single night together. I literally came out to her after we watched Will and Grace, and I was crying, and she was like, "What do you want to tell me?" And I was just I'm gay. And she was just kind of okay, good night. And then The next morning was a whole different story. So I ended up moving in with my grandparents who like took me in, helped me. And I also faced like a lot of bullying in school too. And that landed me in like a mental health facility for 30 days. When I was in there, I met like other LGBTQ kids who were also like being bullied in school, finding out they were gay, didn't know how to deal with it. Also, the main psychologist in the place they sent me was a gay man. And so they really set me down and they were just like, there's nothing wrong with you. People have a problem with you. That's their problem. You have to decide that who you are is enough. And that will be the thing that you cling to in like the hard days. I really discovered like my love for myself in the rehabilitation facility. So I came out of there with like a whole new appreciation for life, finding out how to like love myself.
Yeah.
And that's really what started for me. Like from there, things kind of like made sense, I guess. Like the path was clear for me. So I dropped out of high school, got my GED, and then I got a degree in interior design. And then I found out about MySpace. That's what really started it.
Excited to hear about your MySpace journey.
Oh my God, MySpace was the craziest time in my whole life. So MySpace was just starting. You couldn't even sign up for it. You had to be invited to it. So I got invited by my friend Renee, who was already on MySpace. I looked at it as more of like a tool to kind of promote myself. There wasn't really anybody doing it like that. They were all using it to like for their friends in school and stuff like that. So I just started adding hundreds and thousands of people. I went to like find people and just added everyone, added like thousands and thousands and thousands of people. So I had like 40,000 people on my friends list in like a week. I didn't have a photographer at the time. I'd done literally no modeling yet. So I got my grandmother. We went to a pawn shop and we bought like a affordable digital camera and we would build sets in the garage and my grandmother would take these like David LaChapelle type photos of me and then I would just like make them super contrasty and bright and like the photo editor app that I had. Really everything was just trial and error for me. And then I started blowing up. People were sharing my pictures, people were adding me, and within a year I had like 1 million friends on MySpace and I was the number 7th most popular user on MySpace.
Wow.
It was crazy. And people were like in my messages like Lady Gaga and Paris Hilton inviting me out to party with her. I got to hang out with Lady Gaga twice. And then one day a music producer was like, hey, you should be making music. So me and this guy in New York City made a song called I Want to Meet You, and it blew up. It kind of like launched me. Like everybody made it their profile song on MySpace, and it was just like you would go to people's profile and it would start playing, so you just started hearing it all the time. Now it's been covered by a bunch of people like Aisha Erotica, and a whole bunch of queer artists have like covered this song, which is mind-blowing to me, but it's also humbling, especially when Aisha Erotica covered it, because she's like a trans artist and she writes for like other artists, so she has a huge following. But when she covered my song, it kind of like sent some of those people to me.
Yeah.
So it's kind of cool to like get my flowers for this song like 15 years later.
So at this point, you've blown up on MySpace. You've hung out with Lady Gaga and Paris Hilton. You've written some music. People are covering it. Those changes happened pretty quickly, and over time, you're experiencing this level of fame. What were you feeling at that time, and what was that experience like?
I wish I could go back and do it again, to be honest with you, because like I was so like in my head about everything. I don't think that I got to enjoy it as much as I would now. I look back at like a lot of the things that I did when I was younger, and there's a lot of missed opportunities. But I enjoyed it. I had a blast. It feels like a dream that happened to somebody else. Like when I got to tour, when I was doing like Six Flags and crazy audiences and stages and pride events for like thousands of people. I wish that I had just like gone full throttle like I do now. I'll be 38 in July, so it's like, baby, it's now or never, you know, like take the opportunity and run.
In that time of fame, was there ever an experience or a time when you really had a lot of imposter syndrome? And if so, what was that like?
I was doing all these big things, and on the internet, I looked like this famous person. And in reality, I was living out of a car, going to McDonald's for the free Wi-Fi just to post on MySpace. I looked famous and I was doing things that made me seem famous, but behind closed doors, life was probably the hardest it had been for me since I was a kid. That's when I moved to Dallas, Texas to start working at Radio Disney. That's when like things got crazy for me. This girl found my MySpace profile and she sent it to the higher ups and said that I wasn't giving off the image that the voice of Disney XD, which is what they had hired me to be, the voice of Disney XD. I was like, you're listening to Radio Disney. Like that was me. So things were really good then. But then that bitch got me fired, and that's when things kind of got crazy for me. Thankfully, my friend Morgan, she is a drag queen that performs in Dallas, Texas, Morgan Bondi. She took me under her wing, and we were all struggling because like the power was turned off in her apartment, and we were like there with no power, just candles and cold water. Then we were living out of her car. Then I met a friend who let me live with her for a little while, but she was on a whole bunch of drugs. I tried a bunch of drugs. But looking back, I'm glad I did, because that kind of like gave me a gauge for like what I wanted to do and what I didn't want to do in life. Then I was like, I can't do Dallas anymore. So then I moved back home and just kind of reset and started over.
Tell me more about being a fashion designer, your brand. How did you get that started? Where is it at today? And a little bit more about that.
My grandma was the first person to teach me to sew. So I always loved sewing, but I wasn't really good at it. So in 2015, my grandma committed suicide. She was like my best friend. Well, she was like everything to me. So I snapped. I had a mental breakdown. I spiraled. I lost sight of everything. It took me about like maybe a year, I guess, until I met my current husband, and he kind of like pulled me out of like this really deep funk that I was in. I instantly fell in love with him. Like I knew literally when I opened the door and saw him, I instantly knew that I was going to marry him.
Yeah.
10 years later, we're still together. So he was the catalyst to snap me out of it and get me to rebrand and get myself back on track. So I started doing drag again, and the costumes that I was wanting for drag were going to be like super expensive. And it was easier for us to start making costumes than for me to spend all my money on these costumes. So he learned to sew to help me make costumes. And then he slowly started teaching me to sew. So I started making all my costumes. And then the lady at Joann's, Robin, who was the attendant who always helped us, she was like, show me pictures of your work. And we would always show her pictures. One day she was like, your stuff is so good, you should launch an Etsy. So we made an Etsy. And then like within like 6 or 7 months, we had already had like 500 sales on Etsy. He was sewing 24/7, and I was like having to start sewing to help on costumes. We already had the brand, but we didn't have our actual like physical website. So we launched thehouseofman.com, I think around the end of 2018, 2019. And it blew up. We started doing drag queen costumes for like Alyssa Edwards, LaGanja Stranja, Coco Montrese, girls from RuPaul's Drag Race. And from that, we started getting noticed by pop stars like indie artists and new pop stars. The first one we got was Dorian Electra. They're like a super cool, like hyper pop, non-binary, androgynous pop artist from LA. So we started doing stuff for Dorian constantly. We've done all 3 albums, the tours, the music videos. So it was like really cool to kind of like grow with an artist, you know, like to like do the eras with them, do the albums with them, their music videos, and really evolve with them has been really cool. We also did stuff for Slater, tons of pop stars. Like we started doing that, and then we got asked to do New York Fashion Week, and that was huge for us. Then we got asked to do the McQueen project last year. We did like 1 or 2 pieces. They loved them, so then we did the rest of the pieces. I ended up doing like all these wigs, and then we did the makeup, and then like I didn't hear anything from it. And then they were like, "Oh, by the way, it's in Vogue today." So then I went and like read the Vogue article. I'm very excited about it. I'm excited to go to New York Fashion Week again and be there like on the red carpet for like a project that is going to be like groundbreaking and huge.
It's so fun to hear the path life took, the resilience you've had, and how you've been able to truly accomplish your dreams, and you're just getting started. So with that being said, where do you see your business? Where do you see yourself in the next 10 years?
So people keep telling me that in astrology that next year is supposed to be my year. I don't really know too much about these things, but I'm leaning into it. It's like for my delusion, it has been very, very helpful. I'm just like, okay, next year's going to be your year. So I'm trying to put all the pieces of the puzzle like on the table this year so that next year they can all fit together. I want to be like fully touring. I want to be dressing like Lady Gaga. I want bigger pop stars. I want bigger stages. In 10 years, I want us to have a museum exhibit where you can come and see like the pieces that we've made for pop stars throughout the years. I literally hold on to like all my costumes for that reason, because my husband will be like, just sell them. We have a whole costume room. And I'm like, no, they're for the exhibit.
Yeah.
I know it's going to happen because like I'm manifesting it so hard. Aside from that, I don't know where I want to be in music. I think I just want to be bigger and better. I guess 10 years I'll probably be on my 10th studio album, maybe my 8th studio album, and maybe I'll be touring and some new cool pop star will be opening for me. Bigger than now, bigger stages, bigger numbers.
I'm excited to watch you continue to do incredible things.
I just refuse to stop, I guess. I refuse to give up.
With all that being said, what advice would you give to young queer people who have a really big dream or have a big goal and might not be sure how to do it, might not have the motivation, might not have the confidence? What would be the best piece of advice you'd give them?
Never give up, I guess, is like the number one thing I would say. Who you are is enough. You're perfect as you are, and you need to love yourself first. You have to not listen to all the noise, find out who you are, figure out what your path is, like find out what your thing is that you're good at. Listen to your path and go for it full throttle, and don't give up on it. If you fully believe you can do it and you put all your effort into it, you will achieve it. I believe that it will happen for anyone who believes in it.
We're going to jump into a rapid fire of some fun questions. Are you ready?
I am.
Okay. So first one, what's your go-to comfort food?
Ooh, fried chicken.
Any specific place you like to get your fried chicken from?
Well, I make it.
Homemade, even better.
Yes.
I love it. What's your favorite piece of advice you've ever received?
There was this lesbian Unitarian minister that, when I got out of rehab, took me to her church, which was a Unitarian church. I'd never been to a Unitarian church before. And I'd never seen a lesbian preacher, or a gay preacher at all, so that was mind-boggling to me. But she told me, life is like a water wheel. You gotta go down to come back up. And that just really stuck with me. Whenever like I'm having a bad day or when like things are going bad, I'm always just like, life is a water wheel. You're just going down right now, but you're gonna come back up.
Yeah. Wow. I love that. And if you think about it, you come back up more full, more prepared, more ready for whatever's to come.
Absolutely.
There's a lot of ways to unpack that. Okay, next question. What is your favorite season?
Fall. Around Halloween. Yeah, I love just like when the air changes and the way it smells outside in fall, like oof, just it does it for me.
Totally. Me too. Okay, what's your favorite dessert?
Right now it's strawberry cobbler because Bojangles put out a strawberry cobbler, which is just a biscuit with strawberry jelly on top of it. So then I went on this whole campaign on Instagram to show them what a real strawberry cobbler was.
What is your favorite song you're listening to right now?
Duh, H to T by Brandon Hilton.
Yeah.
No, if it's not me, then the song that I'm really into right now is French Girls by Dove Cameron and also Sweat by Snow Wife.
If you had to take a 10-day vacation and you had to leave tomorrow, where are you going? What are you doing?
I knew this answer instantly. It's Puerto Vallarta, Mexico, and I'm probably not coming back. I'm just going to stay there this time.
I love it. Okay,
Yeah.
Last one. If you got in an elevator and the other person in the elevator was your younger self, so you had about a 30-second elevator ride to say something to your younger self, what would you say?
How old is this younger self?
You can pick.
Well, I mean, there's so many different times in my life when I've been like in a good place and in a bad place. But if it's like 7-year-old me, dad just went to prison, I would be like, I know you're going through it right now, but just lean into it and follow your delusion and everything's going to be okay. You're going to be okay. Everything's going to be okay. Just keep at it.
Awesome. I love that. Okay. Anything else you want to share, Brandon?
My new album is coming out, Internet Celebrity, and the next single and music video is dropping very soon. And look for us at New York Fashion Week on September 8th, House of McQueen. It's going to be touring after that, so if it comes to a city near you, go see it. I'm also doing the costumes for the Rocky Horror Picture Show in Charlotte, North Carolina, a local production, and I'm going to be playing Magenta in it. I'm just doing things. Go ahead and follow me at Brandon Hilton and just stay tuned, babes.
Awesome. Perfect. Thank you so much, Brandon. Thank you for joining us. Everyone, that's it for today's show. Thank you for tuning in. Please like, subscribe, and share with your people. And be sure to follow us on all major platforms at The Queer Economy. Until next time, be kind, be bold, be you.